We are ready to go from Lakeland Park in Game 4 of this 6-game set between the Lakeland Flying Tigers and the Bradenton Marauders. Seth Hernandez is on the bump, and here's the lineup going up against the hard-throwing right-hander. It's Warwick, Pinto, McDonald, Rucker, Ankeny, Goodman, Salas, Osorio, and Rodon is rounding out the lineup and doing the catching. So this lineup is going up against Seth Hernandez, who has been maybe the best pitcher in minor league baseball, not just here in the Florida State League. He comes into tonight with a 2-0 and .53 ERA. And what's the best thing about Hernandez is he's got a 4-pitch mix. He features the fastball, curveball, slider, and changeup, and he can throw all 4 pitches with a lot of confidence, a lot of velocity, and he can locate with perfection. And it should be a lot of fun to see Hernandez make now his 5th start in a Bradenton uniform. The Marauders are rocking with the all-black tops with a Bradenton script across the chest and all gold caps and the white home pants. As for the Flying Tigers, they're in the road grays for the first time this week. And the sun is shining brightly here in Bradenton, Florida, 82 degrees at first pitch. And there's been some people complaining about how it's been a little hot down here in Bradenton, but I watched a Cubs game today and everybody was bundled up. I will take 82 degrees and sweating my butt off than going to Chicago and having to be bundled up, as now the calendar turns over to May. Jude Warwick is the leadoff man for the Flying Tigers. He stands in the very back of the left-handed batter's box with a natural grain bat. And here we go, another start for the Pirates' number 2 prospect. The first pitch is shot foul into the net behind home plate, and we are off and running from Lakeland Park on this Friday night. It is also Health and Wellness Night here at Lakeland. We have some great promotions going on this weekend. Here's the 0-1. Warwick takes a fastball that misses high at 97, and that evens the count at a ball and a strike. As far as the velocity with Hernandez, he can get up there to 100 miles per hour, but he really paces himself in the early going. Most of the time you'll see 97, 96 in the first inning. Now the 1-1. Warwick is way out in front of an 82-mile-per-hour breaking pitch, and it's now a ball and 2 strikes. Hernandez is coming off a week where he earned Florida State League Pitcher of the Week. 9 strikeouts over 5 innings. He goes to the plate, and a bouncer foul right at home. Warwick with the definition of a protection swing. And we'll do it again at 1-2. So far in all 4 outings for Hernandez, he has at least punched out 7. He has 2 games with 8 strikeouts, and then last week with the 9 against the Threshers. The 1-2. Warwick takes a fastball up and out at 96. And the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hernandez also oozes confidence out there on the bump. He doesn't look like your normal 19-year-old. And the 2-2 is a swing and a miss for strike 3. And Hernandez has punch out number 1 on the night against Jude Warwick. And taking a look at the replay, it was the changeup down in the dirt, and I would say all 4 pitches are a strikeout pitch for him. And I feel like early on, and you see these guys trying to develop, you see a pattern as far as what pitches they go to for the punch-out, as Jesus Pinto takes one high, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. A 93-mile-per-hour pitch that time from Hernandez. We are just underway from Lakeland Park. No score between the Flying Tigers and the Marauders. Here's now the 1-0 to Jesus Pinto. He swings and ropes it, but right there is the second baseman, Palmer. He makes the catch behind the second base bag, and there's 2 gone in the top of the first. That brings up Zach McDonald with the high navy blue Detroit Tiger socks and the road gray pants. Still scoreless in the top of the first inning between the Marauders and the Flying Tigers. The Marauders are now 11-13 on the year after the win last night, as the pitch to McDonald is a breaking ball that stays high, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Now, mostly with this team, the teams going up against Hernandez this year, they've been pretty aggressive trying to hunt the fastball. The 1-0 is blasted down the first base side. Going after it is Ramirez, still going back, and it lands fair. Ramirez picks it up. McDonald stays at first, and there's a single, a 2-out single for the Flying Tigers. And McDonald couldn't have put that in a better spot. It was in that Bermuda Triangle section. Haugery, Palmer, Ramirez, everybody going after that baseball, and it dropped right in the middle of them. So now Lakeland's trying to create a 2-out rally, and that brings up Carson Rucker. Righty-righty battle. Hernandez from the belt. Long set, the kick and the pitch is a fastball that grips the outside corner at 95 miles per hour. And it's no balls and a strike. Still no score in the top of the first inning from Lakeland Park. Shadows cover the left side of the infield, but the sun is shining brightly on the right side and the outfield. Hernandez, pickoff move to first, the tag, but McDonald's able to get under it safely. Hernandez does have a pickoff this year. The Marauders pitching staff has actually been so good at picking off guys at first. It's the righties that just have really quick moves. As the 0-1 is blasted almost in that same spot as McDonald. Got the single, but it's out of play. Time is called, and McDonald is awarded second base. A balk was just issued on Hernandez. He asked the bases umpire, David Ortiz, about it, and it seems like Ortiz is explaining to Hernandez that he did not come set long enough. So now a runner in scoring position for the Flying Tigers, and the count is still 0-1. Pitch bounces in the dirt, gets over the glove of Perez, and all the way to the backstop. McDonald moves into third. And now the go-ahead run here in the first inning is just 90 feet away. Well, with those breaking balls from Hernandez, and it looked like it was the curveball that time, something that was a little off about that pitch. And look, Hernandez is obviously not going to be perfect. Nobody is. But it seems like every single time that he has been throwing that curveball, it has been pretty accurate, whether he wants to go just off the plate or in the zone. 1-1 is ripped foul out of play, right behind Tome, and it's 1-2. But it kind of seemed like Hernandez was maybe just a little frustrated by the balk, and then maybe that caused him to chunk the curveball in the dirt. But he still is in a good spot at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2. Rucker takes one down in the dirt, and a great block by Perez, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Perez is back in there behind the dish after Richard Ramirez was the catcher in last night's game. Talking with Perez about catching Hernandez, he says that dude is just an absolute stud. Now the 2-2. Rucker swings and misses for strike 3. He got him with the changeup, and Hernandez gets out of a mini jam in the first. He gets 2 strikeouts, and we head to the home half. The Marauders. We welcome you back to the bottom of the first inning from Lakeland Park. A couple of strikeouts for Seth Hernandez in the top of the first, and Dylan Palmer to lead off for the Marauders inside the left-handed batter's box. Here's the first offering from Salcedo. It's a fastball that's ripped down the third base line, but a catcher's interference. Dylan Palmer, I don't know how he does it. It might be something with his swing, but now in a matter of 2 weeks, he has 3 catcher's interferences, and the first time it happens, you're probably thinking, oh, the catcher just had his glove out there. But I got to wonder now, 3 in 2 weeks, it has to do something with Palmer's swing. The Marauders will definitely take it. His speed is at first base. He has a nice lead, and here's Yordani De Los Santos, the pitch. He swings right over the top of a 94-mile-per-hour fastball. He was barely able to get a piece and fouls it at home plate, so it's 0-1. On the TV broadcast, it was just such a late swing by Palmer, and he definitely got the glove of Rondon. Salcedo quickly working out of the stretch. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. De Los Santos is out in front of a breaking ball, and it's 0-2. Yordani De Los Santos is loved here by Marauders fans and at Lakeland Park. He got a really nice ovation. He's making a minor league rehab assignment, but put up amazing numbers in 2025. The 0-2 is a cut and a miss for strike 3. Salcedo got him with an 87-mile-per-hour breaking pitch. And there's one gone after the catcher's interference on Palmer. Here's another minor league rehab assignment and a newer Pittsburgh Pirate. Jostinson Garcia, who was trying to get to AAA Indianapolis, settles into the right side. Here's the pitch. It's a check swing. Appeal to the bases umpire behind home plate, and he says safe, so it's 1-0. Pirates fans got to see Garcia during spring training here at Lakeland Park, but he's not officially made a regular season debut as a member in this Pittsburgh Pirates organization. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Palmer fakes a steal and a fastball runs up and in at 94 miles per hour. 2 balls and no strikes now on the password, which has got to be one of the best nicknames in all of baseball. He got that nickname during his Boston Red Sox days in their organization. Now the 2-0 is a breaking ball down the heart of the plate at 84 miles per hour, and that evens the count. Our Garcia's actually headed 2 balls and a strike. Taking a look at the defensive alignment for Lakeland, at catcher is Rondon for Salcedo, and then you have Rucker at third, Warwick at short, Goodman at second, Osorio at first, Salas in left, Pinto in center, and McDonald is in right. 2-1 pitch. Garcia is out in front of an 86-mile-per-hour slider, and it's 2-2. Well, you can already see in this bottom of the first inning by Salcedo and just the way that he's attacking these hitters, especially the back-to-back righties, is he consistently goes to that breaking ball just off the plate. Now the 2-2. There goes Palmer, and this one's crushed down the right field line, still hooking into the corner, but McDonald moves into the corner to make the catch. Palmer returns to first, and there's 2 gone on the almost home run by Garcia in his first at-bat with the Marauders. Now, McDonald is in right field, but he's typically a center fielder for this Flying Tigers team. So you have a lot of athleticism in this outfield with Pinto in center, Salas in left, and it's going to be very hard to get extra base hits tonight. Here's now Murph Gray. Pitch misses low and away at 84 miles per hour, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Still nothing doing in the bottom of the first inning between the Flying Tigers and the Marauders. Murph Gray has been on an absolute tear and ended up having an awesome April. Long set, pickoff move to first, but Palmer gets underneath the tag. Gray is the Pirates' number 18 prospect on MLB.com. And he has shown off with the numbers. He leads the team in average, home runs, and RBIs. The 1-0 is a fastball on the inside corner for a strike, and it's 1-1. And that's a spot where Murph Gray, if there's really any part of the zone that he has trouble with, it is those fastballs on the inner half. The 1-1 misses down in the dirt. Backhanded by Rondon, the catcher, and it's 2 balls and a strike. And we've seen him with the ABS challenges as well for Gray. There's been times where you'll see his reaction after it's called a strike, but it's placed on the inside corner, and he'll challenge it, and he ends up losing it. The 2-1, there goes Palmer, pitches down, throw down to second is good, the tag, and he's out. It was right on the money. Palmer at second disagrees with the call, but that is the end of the bottom of the first. Seth Hernandez returns to the mound when we return. No score from Lakeland Park between the Flying Tigers and the Marauders. You're listening to Marauders Baseball. We move to the top of the second inning now from Lakeland Park, and still scoreless between the Lakeland Flying Tigers and the Bradenton Marauders. So glad that you could join us on a gorgeous Friday night in downtown Bradenton, Florida. First pitch out of the hand by Hernandez is a fastball that just misses a tick above the strike zone at 98 miles per hour, and it's 1-0. Two up in this inning offensively. You have Ankeny, Goodman, and Salas for the Flying Tigers. And the 1-0 is a swing and a miss on a breaking ball at 89 miles per hour, and that evens the count at a ball and a strike. You got to wonder what these hitters think, or what is the mindset going in. As the 1-1, he saws him off and fouls it into the net behind Tome with a 98-mile-per-hour fastball, and it's 1-2. But you have to wonder, what is the mindset with somebody like Hernandez, who can throw strikes with all four pitches, especially when in this spot right here, when you're down in the count at 1-2. Hernandez can go with anything that he wants, and he's comfortable with going with anything that he wants. He looks over his dark glove, motions his gold shoes, and goes to the plate. Ankeny takes strike three on the outside part of the plate. A disgusting 82-mile-per-hour curveball, and Hernandez already has 3 strikeouts. Yeah, this is unfair. A curveball on the low and outside corner, and Ankeny going back to the third base dugout just had that look of, I don't really know what to do. Here's Jack Goodman. Breaking ball stays inside, and it's 1-0. That's also back-to-back strikeouts for Hernandez going back to the first inning. Goodman has been amazing defensively for the Flying Tigers this week. And the 1-0 pitch is a fastball that just misses down at 97 miles per hour. 2 balls and no strikes. Hernandez, just 19 years old, 6'4" and 190 pounds, was the Pirates' #1 draft choice last year. 2-0 is on the ground to third. Murph Gray is there. He gobbles it up, spits it out to first, and there's 2 up and 2 down for Hernandez. Well, at the very least, if you're the Flying Tigers right now, as far as making contact, they're doing a better job than we've seen from teams in the past, or really the last couple of weeks. The Tarpons and the Threshers during that 2-week road trip were really not able to get contact or solid contact at all. And we've seen a couple of ground balls or line drives that have sounded pretty solid off the bat. Hannibal Salas takes a breaking ball towards his back foot, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. You also, again, have to wonder how many pitches Hernandez is going to get up to tonight. The 1-0 is shot to deep right center field. Going back is Tate at the edge of the warning track, looking up, and it's gone. Hannibal Salas has the first home run off of Seth Hernandez, and the Flying Tigers take a 1-0 lead. And that was pretty much a no-doubter. Josh Tate, who is a great defensive center fielder, sprinted back, and just in front of the warning track, you could see he was already starting to slow down. And a big-time home run by Hannibal Salas puts the Flying Tigers up. Here's now Javier Osorio. Crushes it off the bag down the third baseline. Hits off the wall into the corner. Osorio racing around first, heading into second. Here comes the throw, and Lakeland with a home run and a double off Hernandez, with still 2 outs in the top of the second. Really, the last time that we saw Hernandez give up some pretty solid contact consistently, I would have to say, was on opening day on April 3rd when they played the Blue Jays. The first batter of the game rocketed a triple to center field. Now, that was more of Hernandez just trying to open the game up with a fastball down the heart of the plate. It was his first professional start, and you have to give credit to the hitter. There's now the catcher, Rondon, from the right-handed batter's box. A fastball that zooms in there at 95, and it's 0-1. A 1-0 lead for the Flying Tigers over the Marauders. Hernandez leans in for the sign. Has the grip in that all-black glove, and the pitch. He's out in front of an 86-mile-per-hour Looks like a slider that time, and it's 0-2. Despite the home run given up by Hernandez in this inning, he's going for 4 strikeouts. He looks back at second, and the 0-2. He gets the strikeout, and it's number 4 tonight for Hernandez on an 82-mile-per-hour breaking pitch. But the Flying Tigers get the solo blast from Salas, and we head to the bottom of the second, 1-0 Flying Tigers. It is now the bottom of the second inning, and the Flying Tigers have a 1-0 lead over the Marauders. Here's the first pitch to Murph Gray. He takes a fastball up and in underneath those bright red batting gloves, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. So Kelvis Salcedo has a lead in the bottom of the second, the 1-0. Fastball that tags the bottom of the zone at 94, and that evens the count at a ball and a strike. Seth Hernandez gave up his first home run of his professional career, the 1-1. Has Gray out in front of an 82-mile-per-hour changeup, and it's 1-2. But for Lakeland, they've had some pretty solid contact against him. 1-2 is a cut and a miss for strike 3, and Salcedo. It's an unorthodox 4 up and 4 down, but he has it tonight, and that brings up Eddie King Jr. again. The former Louisville Cardinal walks behind the home plate umpire, Trevor Stiles, and digs in to the right-handed batter's box. And the first offering out of the wind-up, and that got a piece of King Jr. So that's back-to-back nights that he has been hit, and back-to-back nights that he has been plunked on his front elbow. Thankfully, again, he has the elbow guard, and he walks down the first base bag and will take his spot. The Marauders were hit 3 times in last night's game, but overall it might have been the best offensive performance of the season for the Marauders. They had a season high in hits with 14 and scored 13 runs. Here's now Egleen Perez, the pitch. It's a swing and a miss right over the top of a 92-mile-per-hour fastball, and it's 0-1. Egleen Perez has maybe the most impressive on-base streak in the Florida State League. 18 games, which is all 18 games that he's played this year. The 0-1 is shot fair down the right field line. It caroms off the sidewall. Eddie King Jr. got a late jump. He's into third. The throw to second, the tag, and Perez is out. He tried to stretch it into a double, and that's the second out of the inning, and a beautiful throw by Zach McDonald, who's made already a couple of great defensive plays in right field tonight. But King Jr. does move into third and represents the tying run. And here comes one of the heroes from last night's game, Richard Ramirez, who had pretty much the nail in the coffin 2-run homer in that long 6th inning. Righty-righty battle the pitch. He's out in front of a breaking ball at 84, and it's 0-1. Well, at the very least for Perez, he extends that on-base streak to 19 games now. Overall this season, he's had a .380 on-base percentage. Just insane. The 0-1. Breaking ball that hits the outside corner, and it's 0-2 on Ramirez. Ramirez shaking his head just outside of the right-handed batter's box. He knew he had a pitch to hit. He looks out to the mound. Salcedo set up on the first base side of the rubber with navy blue sleeves underneath his road gray uniform. The 0-2 is a check swing down in the dirt. Appeal to the bases umpire, but he says safe. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. You got to love just the reactions. Catchers have to be some of the best actors in baseball. Just the confidence every time, even if they know it's definitely not a swing, and just pointing aggressively for the check. The 1-2 is a half-hearted cut that he went around on, and it's strike 3, so Salcedo gets out of a mini jam. We go to the third, and the Flying Tigers have a 1-0 lead over the Marauders. You're listening to Marauders Baseball on the Marauders Baseball Network. It is now the top of the third inning, and it's also Bark at the Park night. Sick Marauders jersey on the puppers tonight. That was awesome. Wonder who the player is on the back of the uniform. Here's now Jude Warwick to lead off against Hernandez. And he punches it foul into the net behind home plate to make it 0-1. So the Dogs get to run the bases after the game. And some of my TV crew was giving me a hard time about one of the comments that I made last night. I said that I don't think I've ever seen a poodle run before in the 0-1. It's a swing and a miss. He was out in front of an 83-mile-per-hour changeup, and it's 0-2. And I really, that just dawned on me, and I really hope that we get to see a poodle tonight. That just, maybe they're very athletic, and I just don't know. But I need to find out. And the 0-2 misses down to the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's almost like I've never seen a cow run before. I've never actually seen a cow get up and have to sprint. I'm sure if you put like some grass in front of him and just started sprinting yourself, he would follow. But I need to see a poodle sprint. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him with a nasty breaking ball at 81. And Hernandez gets back into a rhythm with a punch out to start the top of the third. Here's another look at it, and just right at the knees, another great spot for Hernandez with that breaking pitch. And now here's Jesus Pinto inside the right-handed batter's box. He already has 2 strikeouts on Warwick in the offering. It's a fastball up and out at 97, and it's 1-0. Well, Hernandez gave up his first home run of his professional career. It won't be the last. Everybody gives up home runs. The 1-0 just misses off the plate, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. You know, it's actually a credit to how great Hernandez has been this season. Is he gives up a home run tonight, and probably the feeling around the ballpark is, oh my gosh, what is happening? But that is how terrific he has been on the mound. 2-0. A shot on the ground to short, picked up by De Los Santos. He shuffles and fires, and there is out number 2. I mean, to be that dominant where you give up your first home run and there's probably people like, oh my gosh, somebody's actually getting to Hernandez. They're not getting to Hernandez. He's about to get through 3 innings with 5 strikeouts and only allowing 3 hits right now, with one of them being a bloop single. Still has to get through this third. And here is Zach McDonald inside the right-handed batter's box. And the pitch to him. Pops the mid of Perez, but just off the plate, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 lead for the Flying Tigers over the Marauders from Lakeland Park. And here comes the 1-0. McDonald swings and punches it down the left field line, and this one's headed for the bullpen. Home run number 2 tonight for the Flying Tigers, and they take a 2-0 lead off of Lakeland. That time it looks like a hanging breaking ball as Perez goes out to the mound to have a conversation with Hernandez. And you know, the funny thing as well is, obviously, for every organization, you don't want one of your pitchers to fail, but you do want them to go through some adversity, because you know sooner or later it's going to happen throughout their professional career. And this might go down as now giving up 2 runs, and let's see if he can get still 1 more out to have 2 runs over 3 innings. But this might be the most interesting start for Hernandez, as the first pitch now to Carson Rucker is in there for a strike at 97, and it's 0-1. But the reason I say that is because now we can see how Hernandez fights back and gets into a rhythm with giving up these runs. The 0-1 is a breaking ball on the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. We knew coming into this game that it would arguably be the biggest test for Hernandez this season so far. The 1-1 is a broken bat line drive just over the head of the shortstop De Los Santos and into left field. And the Flying Tigers are starting to look more and more comfortable against Hernandez. Still a 2-0 lead for Lakeland over Bradenton in the top of the third inning. And that gives way to Bo Ankeny. He climbs into the very back of the right-handed batter's box with all white New Balance shoes. Hernandez with the pickoff move to first, but the runner gets back in there. This is also the first time that Hernandez in his professional career has given up multiple runs in an outing. Long set of the belt, he fires a swing and a miss with a 94-mile-per-hour heater, and it's 0-1. Ramirez still trying to fight off the sun down that first base side and possibly trying to pick up a pickoff move by Hernandez, the 0-1. Another swing and a miss, that time at 96 miles per hour, and it's 0-2. So Hernandez going for strikeout number 6 through 3 innings. He's set. And Hernandez pulls the trigger. Misses down low with an 82-mile-per-hour changeup, and it's 1-2. We got the opportunity to actually interview Hernandez after one of his bullpens this week, and I asked him, what pitch is just really working for you? And he said, I got to be honest with you, I'm just really blessed right now, and all 4 pitches are doing their thing. And the 1-2. Out in front, and a high pop-up on the infield, first base side. Ramirez calls off Hernandez and makes the catch, backpedaling. And that is the third and final out, but Zach McDonald with a home run against Hernandez. And it's 2-0. On to the bottom of the third inning. That is a beautiful dog right there here at Lakeland Park. Fluffy, fluffy dog. And here's Josh Tate to lead off. Oh, he almost got hit by a fastball up and in, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. I know I probably sound really confusing, especially for those that are listening on the radio. I have the TV screen in front of me, so I'm kind of trying to describe what's on my TV screen to you as well, as the 1-0 bounces a couple of feet in front of home plate, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. So 2 up offensively for the Marauders. We have Josh Tate, Christian Haugery, and Dylan Palmer, 8, 9, and 1. Salcedo out of the windup. Tate slaps it foul right at home plate, and that got a piece of the catcher Rondon, and it's 2-1. We have seen Josh Tate all up and down this Marauders lineup, but it really doesn't matter where he's put, or it really doesn't change his attitude. He's going to get the job done. 2 balls and a strike. Salcedo has a new baseball in his right hand. He motions and fires. Tate is out in front of a curveball, and it's 2-2. If there is a pitch that has given Josh Tate some trouble this year, it is that breaking ball low and outside. Even though he always is looking to drive the baseball the other way, he's been out in front a time or 2 on it. 2-2 pitch, misses low and outside. That was a changeup at 83 miles per hour. And the count is full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. And the Marauders really need Josh Tate to get on base to lead off this inning. Down 2-0 to Lakeland. Now the 3-2. As a swing and a miss for strike 3 with an 85-mile-per-hour slider. So 1 gone, and here comes Christian Haugery. So Kelvis Salcedo stands at 6 foot, 180 pounds, just 20 years old, from Venezuela. The pitch, a bunt opportunity for Haugery. He pulls it back, and it's in there for a strike at 85 miles per hour. So the count begins at 0-1. Next offering is blistered to deep right field. This ball's got some carry. It's still going back. And Christian Haugery has home run number 1 in 2026. Calgary gets it done every night. He is in the lineup for the Marauders. He's pretty much done everything so well at the plate, and all he was missing was that long ball, and he crushed a changeup on the outside corner. And it got way over the right center field wall as Dylan Palmer takes a fastball low and outside, and it's 1-0. What a player and what a start to the year for Christian Calgary. 1-0 pitch. Palmer stings it on the ground but foul, just to the right of the first base bag, and it's 1-1. Calgary is not a top 30 prospect on MLB.com for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but the numbers that he is posting coming into this game are just remarkable for somebody. Again, we express it all the time, is in and out of this lineup. The 1-1 is a booming foul ball down the third base side, and it's 1-2. Calgary over 15 games has a .289 batting average, .357 on base, and a couple of doubles. The slug is a little down at .342, but now it's going to get up after that home run. Salcedo shakes off a couple of signs in agreement with the third and the 1-2. Palmer goes down swinging with an 89-mile-per-hour breaking ball. Here's now Yordany De Los Santos. This is Yordany's second appearance during his rehab assignment with Bradenton. First pitch is a changeup down the heart of the zone, and it's 0-1. A 2-1 lead for the Flying Tigers over the Marauders in the bottom of the third. Salcedo winds and deals. Is a bouncer third base side, charging is Rucker. He fields in front of Warwick, throws to first, and there is the third and final out. We head to the fourth, but the Marauders make it a 2-1 game on the solo homer from Christian Calgary. Seth Hernandez back on the mound when we return. You're listening to Marauders Baseball on the Marauders Baseball Network. We have already made it to the middle of this one at Lakeland Park, and a 2-1 lead for the Lakeland Flying Tigers over the Bradenton Marauders. Seth Hernandez is back on the bump, working from the first base side of the rubber against Jack Goodman. Here's the kick and the pitch. Goodman takes a fastball outside, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Kind of a stunning outing by Hernandez tonight. He's given up multiple runs, which is the first time that he's done that in just his short professional career. Here's another pitch by Hernandez. Goodman slaps it on the ground. Murph Gray unable to get there, and it's into left field for a leadoff single. And going back to the second inning when Hernandez gave up that home run, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, that's just one hit, but you have to give credit where credit is due. The Flying Tigers are making some really nice at-bats against them. They've been very patient. They're picking their spots, and they already have 6 hits against them. It's just 2 runs, but still in the early going of this fourth inning. Anibal Salas now from the left side. Takes a breaking ball on the outside corner at 78 miles per hour, and it's 0-1. The shadows have engulfed the infield, but the sun still beaming down on the outfield grass of beautiful Lakeland Park. Hernandez looks over at first, a long set, the 0-1. Is a check swing, appeal to the bases umpire, but he says safe. So that evens the count, and a ball and a strike to Salas. Hernandez, as far as his pitch count, is still not in a terrible spot. He's at 47. He has the sign from Perez. Pickoff move to first, but the runner gets back in sliding safely. The most pitches that Hernandez has thrown this year for the Marauders is 67. And he's always around the strike zone. 41 strikes in that 67 pitch outing, and then last week 61 pitches, and he threw 40 strikes. The 1-1 is a swing and a miss at an 81-mile-per-hour changeup down in the zone, and it's 1-2. And that's probably the best thing that you want to see out of Hernandez is the times that he does struggle, you would rather him give up some solid contact than just being wild. Another long set, pickoff move to first, but the runner gets in safely again. So that is the second disengagement in this at-bat by Hernandez. But that is a testament in this outing, and he still has a good amount of strikeouts. He gets another sign by Perez, who sets up outside. The pitch misses high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The velocity is still at about 95 to 97. Now, obviously, we've seen Hernandez really get into the middle of these games, and that's when he really starts to juice up the fastball. The 2-2. Here's a swing and a miss for strike 3. With an 82-mile-per-hour breaking pitch, and there's one gone in the top of the 4th. It always feels like, though, Hernandez is so talented that it really doesn't matter how well the opposing hitters are making solid contact against him. He's always going to have the swing and miss stuff, and he's always going to rack up the punch-outs like he's doing tonight. Here's now the first pitch to Javier Osorio. The offering is blasted foul out of play down the first base side at 96 miles per hour, and it's 0-1. Javier Osorio is rocking with the pink tonight. He's got a pink arm sleeve underneath his road gray uniform and pink batting gloves. He holds an all-black bat above his navy blue helmet. Hernandez comes set quietly. And the 0-1 is a swing on the ground to third. He backs up and fields, throws to second. He bounced it for the out. Throw over to first is out of the glove of Ramirez. Osorio is safe, and Ramirez has to track the ball as it was starting to head down the right field line. But they do get the lead runner at second on an unusual throw by Gray. He might have been having trouble with the transfer, and thankfully when the throw bounced to Dylan Palmer at second base, it was right on the money. There's a lot of bad things that could have happened in that spot, but the Marauders will take it, and there's 2 gone for the catcher, Ron Dunn. 2-1 lead for the Flying Tigers over the Marauders in the top of the 4th inning from Lakeland Park. Hernandez goes to the plate. There goes the runner. Swing and a miss. Throw down to second. The tag. And he's safe. A beautiful move by Osorio to get around the tag of Palmer. He lifted his left hand right over Palmer's glove and was able to move around the tag and get into the back corner of the base. That is some matrix stuff by Osorio. That is insane looking at the replay. Wow. So runners at second, and the 0-1 is a swing and a miss. He was behind a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, and it's 0-2. Hernandez trying to get another punch out tonight. And the 0-2. He got it with an 81-mile-per-hour off-speed pitch. And we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, 2-1. Lakeland still with the lead over Bradenton. You're listening to Marauders Baseball on the Marauders Baseball Network. It is now the bottom of the 4th inning, and the Lakeland Flying Tigers have a 2-1 lead over the Bradenton Marauders. Joe Stinson Garcia, the password to lead off, and the first pitch is a booming line drive out towards right field. McDonald moves to his left and hauls it in on his left shoulder for out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out for the new guy on the bump. It's the tall, lengthy right-hander, Charlie Christensen. And now he has to face off against Murph Gregg. So the night is officially done for Kelvis Salcedo, and over his 3 innings, he was pretty good tonight. Pitch to Gray is a fastball on the outside corner for a strike, and it's 0-1. Well, the Pirates are back at it tonight, going up against the Cincinnati Reds. And the 0-1 pitch. A booming swing by Gray, but he comes up empty on an 86-mile-per-hour breaking pitch, and it's 0-2. Christensen working quickly from the first base side of the rubber. And the 0-2 on the way. Gray Swings and taps it foul right at home plate, and he stays alive at no balls and 2 strikes. And another 0-2 pitch. His fastball that just misses up at 94. And it's now 1-2. We got to have a conversation with Jack Anker, the former teammate of Murph Gray on the pregame show for tonight's game, and he was awesome. The 1-2 is a tapper foul down the third base side. First of all, he was expressing, which I totally agree with, he was talking about when he eats a steak, he always drinks milk with it, which I thought that was pretty normal, but there were some of us in the front office that had never heard of that before. I thought it was, again, a very regular thing. The 1-2 is fouled back and out of play, so Gray is putting up a really nice battle against Christensen, and it's 1-2. But Anker is one of the most laid-back guys. The best part of that interview is he was like drinking tea during it, and it was Jack Anker. He's been really good out of the bullpen as well. 1-2 is a swing and a miss for strike 3, so Gray goes down on strikes, and it's 2 up and 2 down. This might sound disgusting, so please don't. Just bear with me. I like to drink chocolate milk pretty much with everything. Here's now Eddie King Jr. Bouncer foul towards the first base side, and it's 0-1. Like I will have spaghetti with chocolate milk, and that's probably that's probably more disgusting than actually regular milk with spaghetti. But it's the truth. I'm just kind of obsessed with it. I'm not going to apologize. The 0-1 is a swing and a miss by King Jr., and it's 0-2. But really, all growing up, I'm a picky eater. You can probably tell, having chocolate milk with spaghetti. But it was PB&J and chocolate milk. That was the combo growing up all the time. 0-2 misses low and inside, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. But I got just so used to drinking it 24/7 that it just comes natural. I could probably eat that with a steak. And if you cringe at home, I don't blame you. And if you think, again, I'm disgusting, I don't blame you. 1-2 is cracked into shallow right field. That gets down for a base hit. And King Jr. trying to start a 2-out rally for the Marauders. And it brings up Edglin Perez. Here's another look at the shot by King Jr., and it was pretty much a pitch by Christensen. He was in a good count, and he just missed his spot. It was middle, and the way that King Jr. has been swinging the bat, you go middle to him, it's going to pretty much end up a hit 90% of the time. Perez takes one way outside, and a nice snag by Rondon, the catcher, behind the left-handed batter's box, and it's 1-0. 2-1 lead for the Flying Tigers over the Marauders. Christensen comes set, and the pitch. Misses down. 2 balls and no strikes. And really, given the way that this game has gone, despite yesterday when the Marauders won 13-6, you can pretty much assume that this one is really going to come down to the wire, because the Flying Tigers are still a really good team. The 2-0 is out of play down the first base side, and it's 2-2. They're still second in the West Division, even though they get off to that, I believe it was a 7-0 start to begin this season, and ever since then they've really been just playing 500 baseball, but they're still at the top of the division, and the Marauders have played them really well this week. And the 2-1. Misses inside, 3 balls and a strike now on Perez. Richard Ramirez waits in the on-deck circle down the first base side. Here comes the 3-1 now. Perez swings and cracks it foul into the screen behind home plate. and it's now 3-2. So with 2 outs and a full count to Perez, King Jr. will be off and moving on the pitch by Christensen. And he's got some speed, so a ball into the gap or down the line should tie this game. Here's the pitch. There goes King Jr. and a bouncer. Third base side charging in is Rucker. He has it off balance throw. Cannot be picked up by Osorio. King Jr. moves into third, and he slides in safely. A nice break for the Marauders. It should be the end of the inning, but the 2-out rally continues. They have runners on the corners for Richard Ramirez, who had a 2-run homer in last night's game. Ramirez now trying to come up clutch in back-to-back games. The 20-year-old stands in the right-handed batter's box. The pitch at the knees for a called strike at 91 miles per hour. Ramirez is known by Marauders fans after playing a significant amount of time at Single A last year. Here comes the 0-1. There's a booming shot foul and into the net behind Tome, so it's 0-2. Here's another look at the error on your TV screen. Rucker just really made a nice throw, and those back picks can be so difficult. And Perez got down the line pretty quickly, maybe put some pressure on Osorio at first, and he just wasn't able to play it on the backhand. Now the 0-2. Misses high with a 95-mile-per-hour heater, and it's 1-2. The infield is shifted way to the left side, so if Ramirez is able to maybe have a 2-out, 2-strike swing, there's a big hole on the right side of the infield. The 1-2 is a bouncer, just fell down the third base side. And Ramirez continues to fight at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Christensen was a 15th round draft pick last year by the Tigers. Attended the University of Central Arkansas and grew up in Overland Park, Kansas. Trying to get out of this jam now for the Flying Tigers. Another 1-2 on the way. Is a swing and a miss for strike 3. An 84-mile-per-hour breaking ball, and the Marauders leave a couple of runners on the base pass. It is now the top of the 5th inning from Lakeland Park, and the Marauders are trailing the Flying Tigers 2-1, but Seth Hernandez is back on the bump for Bradenton, going up against 1, 2, and 3 in the Flying Tigers lineup. Hernandez out of the windup. Here's the pitch to Jude Warwick. It is a breaking ball on the outside part of the plate, and a beautiful spot by Hernandez to make it no balls and a strike. Still a beautiful sunset here in downtown Bradenton, orange and light blue sky overhead. The 0-1. Warwick takes another breaking ball pretty much in the same spot on that outside corner, and it's 0-2. And Warwick just has to be really frustrated going down 0-2 to a guy like Hernandez, and you've only seen 1 pitch so far. Hernandez out of the windup once again. Here's the 0-2. He gets another strikeout with an 82-mile-per-hour curveball. So there's the first out of the top of the 5th. And it brings up Jesus Pinto, the center fielder. Yeah, that curveball is just legit. It's not a 12-6 curveball. It kind of comes from the side, but there's just so much late life to it. As the offering to Pinto is a fastball at 99 miles per hour, and it's 1-0. And this is what we were talking about earlier in the game, where Hernandez, just showing off the maturity, he really picks and chooses his spots when to up the velocity with the heater. The 1-0 is a breaking ball that forced Pinto out of the box, but almost came back to the strike zone. It still missed inside, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. But maybe Hernandez knows that this is his last inning of the night, and he's going to let it eat. The 2-0. There's a fastball that misses down at 98. So the velocity is definitely up from what we've seen in the first 3 innings. The first 3, he was at 95, 97. And a couple of fastballs here in this top of the fifth, and it's been 98-99. But a 3-0 count. Pinto takes all the way, and a 97-mile-per-hour fastball on the outer edge for a strike. Hernandez is up to 61 pitches, so he's 6 away from matching his season high of 67. Out of the windup, the pitch. Pinto takes a strike on the inside corner, and Pinto immediately taps the top of his helmet and wants an ABS challenge. He's even taking off his equipment outside of the box. He's pretty confident, and he should be. It just missed inside. So there's a one-out walk for Jesus Pinto. That brings up Zach McDonald inside the right-handed batter's box, who has a home run tonight off of Hernandez. Still a 2-1 lead for the Flying Tigers over the Marauders in the top of the fifth. Long set, the pitch. McDonald is out in front of a 97-mile-per-hour fastball, and it's 0-1. And it really did look like he was hunting that fastball. He just missed it, and maybe he had a mindset going back to the home run. What pitch did I get the home run off of? And maybe he tries to switch up some things. Pickoff move to first, off the glove of Ramirez, but he picks it up. It's just in front of the first base bag. Hernandez back with the baseball, looks over at first. Has the grip he wants in his dark glove. And the 0-1 is a beautiful breaking ball on the inside part of the plate. No balls and 2 strikes now. So Seth Hernandez is now going for strikeout number 9, which will match his career high on what he was able to do against the Threshers last week. Now the 0-2. He gets strikeout number 9 to match his career high with a 97-mile-per-hour heater. 2 gone in the top of the fifth, and now he has the chance to have his first 10-strikeout game of his career. I guess it really, he's done everything great, but I guess in a sense that'll make up for allowing the 2 runs tonight. Carson Rucker takes a breaking ball in the inner half, and now Hernandez is really starting to get back into a groove with that breaking pitch. It was an 87-mile-per-hour changeup. He has the sign from Perez, who sets up inside once again. Here comes the 0-1. Got him swinging at 96. Hernandez going for 10 strikeouts. He likes the sign from Perez. Here's the 0-2. On the ground to short, De Los Santos backhand, sets his feet, throws to first, and beats the runner by a step for out number 3. Hernandez through 5 innings, now with 9 strikeouts. We're halfway through at Lakeland Park, 2-1 Flying Tigers over the Marauders. You're listening to Marauders Baseball.
Stepping up to the plate, leading off the home half for the 5th. Marauders center fielder, number 7, Josh Tate.
And was perfect through 3 innings and had 5 strikeouts and reached 101 miles per hour. Josh Tate to lead off against Christensen. He zips a 91-mile-per-hour pitch on the outside corner, in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. And the next offering to Tate. That one misses outside to even the counts at a ball and a strike. So we have Bark at the Park tonight. Margaritaville is tomorrow. And then Copa de la Diversion on Sunday. Swing and a miss by Tate, and it's 1-2. So a lot going on here at Lakeland. Should be a fun weekend. Christensen looks over his mitt. He has the sign. Here comes a 1-2. Outside at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Josh Tate over his last 10 games going into this week was hitting over 300. He has been that special out of the lineup, and it doesn't matter whether he's at the top or the bottom like he is tonight. And the 2-2 is crunched foul down the third base side. So the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Christian Haugery waits in the on-deck circle down the first base side. Here comes the 2-2. He's off the end of his bat, and he's just barely able to stay alive as he punches it foul behind Tome and out of play. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two again. Is a line drive into center field for a base hit. Leadoff man is on for the Marauders to open up the bottom of the 5th inning, and they also have a lot of speed in Josh Tate. And that brings up Christian Haugery. He is responsible for the only run that the Marauders have tonight with a solo blast back in the bottom of the 3rd off Salcedo, the starter. And the pitch to him. He shows bunt, pulls it back, and it's in there for a strike at 90 miles per hour, and it's 0-1. You know, I was thinking about what movie to watch last night. I couldn't come up with anything. I might, and it's because there's so many options, I just can't make up my mind. I might go by the promo nights. The 0-1 is a bouncer foul off the foot of Haugery, and it's 0-2. So we have Bark at the Park night. We have Margaritaville on Saturday, Copa on Sunday. That's might make my decisions a little bit easier, is trying to pick a specific movie that goes along with the promo nights here. Now, the first dog movie that I think of is Marley and Me. I'm not going to cry tonight. That's just not going to happen. So that is off the table. I feel like Air Bud would be a pretty solid one, just given the sports. I've seen more of the basketball, though. Now the 0-2. Misses down low. It's a ball and 2 strikes. But any suggestions, it would be great. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going through the torture and crying myself to sleep at 1 in the morning watching Marley and Me. That is not going to happen. The 1-2 is blasted foul down the third base side. Still ball and 2 strikes on Christian Haugery. 2-1 lead for the Flying Tigers over the Marauders in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Marauders are trying to set themselves up in a really good spot to take this series. If they can win tonight, going into the weekend, just needing at least 1 game out of those 2 to take the series would be amazing. The 1-2 misses down in the dirt. So it's now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Haugery. Again, it has to be very frustrating for those guys in the first base dugout and Marauders fans thinking about how this season has gone. If you go back to that opening week against the Cardinals, even if they're just able to win 2 games, they would be right there at the top of the division. There goes the runner, pitches high and inside, a late throw, and Josh Tate is in there sliding safely. He almost fell off the base, but Warwick did not keep the tag on. I think it wouldn't have mattered because Tate was able to keep his toes on the top of the bag, and it's a steal for Tate. Here's another look, just a late throw by Rondon, but the fastball was up and in, and he was trying to get around Haugery, who had every right to just kind of stay there. A bouncer foul into the first base coaching box. Gets underneath the hand of Gustavo Omania. We got to make a play over there, Coach. What are we doing? Still 3-2 on Haugery. And the offering. That got a piece of Haugery on his knee, and he is down inside the left-handed batter's box. There is not a lot of padding there. That has got to be one of the worst places to get hit. It looked like it got him literally the front of his knee. He gets up and is trying to walk it off at home plate. He has a little bit of a limp, starting to head down the first base side. I'm sure it's just an awkward feeling. It's got to be like kind of like getting hit in your funny bone. And he's able to walk down the first base bag, and he'll set up on first. Well, despite the hit by pitch, the Marauders are in a really good spot at second and first. And now they move to the top of the lineup for Dylan Palmer. Haugery definitely seems to be okay. He just took a jog down the right field line and back to the first base bag. So obviously that is great to see, knowing that Haugery has been so good for this Marauders lineup, and even tonight with the home run. Time is called. Meeting on the mound for Christensen. So far for Christensen this year, he's been really good, a 1.29 ERA over 3 outings. He does have 1 start, but 11 strikeouts over 7 innings. So there has been not a lot of teams that have been able to get to him so far early on in the season, and the Marauders have a really nice opportunity with second and first and nobody out. The meeting on the mound's over with, and here comes Dylan Palmer inside the left-handed batter's box. Christensen looks back at second and fires. Palmer bunts it right in front of the mound. Christensen fields, throws to third, and they get the out. A great catch by Rucker, diving to his right, and he was able to keep his foot on the base for the force out. And Christensen really showed off the athleticism, and I'm sure Palmer, if he had to do this again, he was probably trying to get it more down the first base side, and he's usually so good overall at getting it down, as you see it there, but really putting it in the perfect spots, and that time it was just, it had too much velocity and kind of an easy play for Christensen. The inning continues for De Los Santos. He takes a fastball outside, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Now, Christensen did not start in the FCL before getting this spot with the Flying Tigers this year. The 1-0 is crushed down the left field line, but into the netting, and a foul ball. But he ended up spending 3 years at Central Arkansas and really developed at that level. The ERA during his first season as a 19-year-old in 2023, it was not there for him, an 8.27 ERA, but the numbers got better every year. He went from a 5.98 ERA, and then his last season a 5.85. 1-1 pitch. Got him swinging on a breaking ball at 83, and it's 1-2. He's always been really a strikeout machine. He had 74 strikeouts last year at Central Arkansas. That was over 80 innings. But he worked a lot for Central Arkansas during his college days. The 1-2 is a swing on the ground up the middle. Back into my Goodman on a dive. He gets up, bounces the throw to first, and it gets behind the first baseman. Here comes Haugery from third. He slides safely, and we are tied. Palmer moves into third. De Los Santos is safe at first. Still only 1 out, and here comes the password. Well, it was a great play by Goodman. He tried to bounce the throw. It was off to the right, and maybe if the first baseman Osorio had to do this again, he would have came off the base, but he tried to stretch, and he wasn't able to get there in time. Garcia's out in front of a breaking ball at 81 miles per hour, and it's 0-1. So Joe Stinson Garcia is still looking for his first hit tonight during this first game of his minor league rehab assignment, and he already has the chance to do something special. The 0-1 is slammed to deep right field. Going back at the wall, McDonald makes the catch right in front of the wall, but Palmer is able to tag up from third, and Garcia gives the Marauders a 3-2 lead on the RBI sac fly. That is the second time tonight that Garcia has hit it towards McDonald, and every single time off the bat you've thought that there is a chance that this ball is going to get out, and it just hasn't happened, but a really good piece of hitting to give the Marauders a 3-2 lead. And here's Murph Gregg, the pitch. Crushes it into left field. That's a base hit. De Los Santos trots into second, and the Marauders are starting to get that train a moving with the offense. That brings up Eddie King Jr. This is really how it has started for the Marauders, and those first couple weeks of the season when they were going through a cold spell, we just didn't see the big innings, but it seems like now they just need a couple of things to go their way, and then they are set for the rest of the game. The offering to King Jr. is in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. De Los Santos with his lead off of second. He gets off. Christensen thought about making a move to second. He still stepped off the rubber, and De Los Santos was able to get back safely. De Los Santos was trying to time him up. He got about halfway between second and third, but was able to race back just in time. The 0-1 misses up with an 83-mile-per-hour breaking ball, and that evens the count at 1-1. It's been a really long inning for Christensen. He's had to throw a ton of pitches. He's already up to 47, and this is just his second inning of work. 1-1. Check swing, but it doesn't matter. In there at 90 miles per hour to make it 1-2. Infield playing back now on King Jr. Christensen just needs one more strike to get out of this inning. And the 1-2. Drills it into right field. That gets down for a base hit. De Los Santos stops at third. Here comes the throw to the plate, and it would have got him if De Los Santos tried to score, but the bases are loaded, and Edglin Perez has an opportunity to open the floodgates for the Marauders. Maybe the best thing in this game for the Marauders is here's another look, and watching a lot of Eddie King Jr. this year, it's almost like reruns. It's the same swing going to right field, and it's pretty, and it's the sharp line drives into right field. So the bases are loaded. First pitch to Edglin Perez is a fastball that tags the outside part of the plate, and it's 0-1. 3-2 lead for the Marauders. 2 outs, and the bases loaded in the bottom of the 5th. Now the 0-1 pitch. Perez smacks it foul and out of play down the right field line, and it's 0-2. On the way. Misses outside at 92 miles per hour. A ball and 2 strikes on Perez. 51 pitches now for Christensen. Speed all on the bases. De Los Santos at third, Gray at second, King Jr. at first. 1-2. He socks it into center field. Going back is Pinto. Into the gap, still moving. He dives and he hangs on to it for the out. What a play by Jesus Pinto. That ends the possible big rally for the Marauders in the bottom of the fifth. But they're still able to take a lead, and they have a 3-2 lead over the Flying Tigers. We head to the sixth inning. Well, Seth Hernandez, his night is done, but he was absolutely terrific. You see the breaking ball down, and it's really just been the changeup that's been so impressive with Hernandez. Once again, he had 9 strikeouts, so 2 outings this year with 9 punch-outs, which is also tying his career high. But you would just think that a lot of strikeouts are going to come with the fastball, but if you notice going through this highlight reel, it's just a lot of breaking balls. It's the changeup and the curveball is just 2 dynamic pitches for him, and they have been absolutely outstanding. So Gray Bear Mendez is the new pitcher into the game for the Marauders. He gets a swing and miss on Bo Ankeny to start the top of the 6th inning, and it is 3-2. Marauders over the Flying Tigers. So Mendez trying to hold this lead for now, and a high pop-up on the infield. Who's going to get it? All 4 infielders converge, and it's the shortstop, De Los Santos, who takes charge and makes the catch behind the mound for out number 1. So if you missed it earlier, I was talking about I could line my movies up with the promo nights here, and I actually got an awesome email for a recommendation for a dog movie because I said I didn't want to watch Marley and Me. Jack Goodman takes a fastball on the outside corner. But I'm being told the Stevens family, thank you, shout outs. And because of Winn-Dixie, I guess that's what's going to be on the TV screen tonight. So I appreciate getting me locked in for after this game. 1 ball and 1 strike now on Jack Goodman. Mendez from the belt and the pitch. Beautiful breaking ball, but it misses outside, so 2 balls and a strike. Mendez has really turned it around after a slower start to the year. Really, that's kind of becoming the theme for this Marauders team. The 2-1 is roped down the left field line. That gets down for a base hit. Goodman a big turnaround first, but the throw gets back into the infield quickly. And Jack Goodman now represents the tying run here in the top of the 6th. Here's now Anibal Salas. The numbers on Mendez, he's got a 3.86 ERA over 7 games. He was also a really reliable guy out of the bullpen last year for Bradenton. Salas swings and misses at a 80-mile-per-hour pitch, and it's 0-1. The biggest thing for Mendez is the inherited runners. A 1 pitch from the belt. Salas taps it foul towards the end of the first base dugout, and it's 0-2. There's been 9 inherited runners for Mendez when he comes into these games out of the bullpen, and only 1 is scored. So it probably feels really weird to him that he is starting this inning with nobody on base. The 0-2 moves too far low and inside, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. But most of the time for Mendez, he's going to be around the strike zone. He's got 10 punch-outs and 4 walks. Opposing hitters are just batting .222 against him this season as well. 1-2, a bouncer, foul. Mendez has already made an appearance this week against the Flying Tigers. It was 2 scoreless frames, a couple of punch-outs, and no walks. Pitch. Got him swinging. The 90-mile-per-hour fastball at the bottom of the zone. 2 gone for Javier Osorio. Here's another look at the pitch by Mendez, and Osorio, you could tell, was just really late and kind of looking to drive the baseball into left field, and you got to wonder if he was thinking off speed. Mendez looks over at first, and the offering misses in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. And the 1-0 is punched down the line, foul, and into the seats. 1 ball and 1 strike. I believe in the Pirates game tonight, once that gets underway, they've been in a really big delay. They're in the City Connects once again, the second time that they're wearing them this season. And the 1-1 is launched to deep left center field. Going back is Josh Tate at the warning track, and it gets behind King Jr. and hops over the wall. That actually works out for the Marauders because now Goodman, who is off of first, has to head back to third. And I don't know if he's realized that. He takes his helmet off. It's a ground rule double, so he has to go to third base. That saves the Marauders. It should be a tie game at 3-3, but instead it's going to be second and third for Rondon. This is really just kind of the series that the Marauders have had this week against the Flying Tigers. There's been a lot of things that have just gone their way. And listen, to be a successful team, yes, obviously the at-bats, the defense, all of that has to be great. But there's always a little luck involved, especially, you talk about postseason play all the time with some of these teams that end up winning championships. And it seems like the baseball gods have just been in the favor of the Marauders this week. Fastball moves up and in on Rondon, so it's 1 ball and no strikes. They still have to get this final out. Second and third, 3-2 lead for the Marauders in the top of the 6th. And the pitch. Got him swinging on an 89-mile-per-hour fastball, and it's 1-1. There is some action in the Marauders bullpen, but I think Kara Alvarez is still very comfortable with Mendez in this spot as the 1-1 is on the ground up the middle. There's Palmer, the second baseman. He fields soft throw to first, and the Marauders are able to keep their lead. It's 3-2 as we head to the home half. You're listening to Marauders Baseball. It is now the bottom of the 6th inning from Lakeland Park. Leading off is Richard Ramirez. He swings and misses for strike 1. And there's a new pitcher on the bump for Lakeland. Hey fans, Margaritaville night is tomorrow. First 750 fans get a Marauders-themed Hawaiian t-shirt. So the middle of this promo weekend at Lakeland Park. The 0-2 is a high fly ball. Shot out towards left field, and he lost it. Salas is now going back, and it lands in front of the warning track. Ramirez did not stop running, so he's into second. And another big break for the Marauders, and Ramirez will take it. It goes down as a double. That's just another case of, and I like to say it, we are now in the twilight zone here at Bradenton, and it's just the way the sky is right now. It's kind of this, light blue mixed in with the navy and the sun setting, and it's just hard to track the baseball when it gets way up there, even with the lights here at Lakeland. So a runner at second. Here's now Josh Tate. Fastball that hits the outside corner, and it's in there for strike 1. Hoskins from the belt. The 0-1 pitch. Just misses down to even the counts, and it's 1-1. We do have to go through some Florida State League scores during this bottom of the 6th inning to see how the rivals of the Marauders are doing. 1-1. That went behind Tate and all the way to the backstop. So Ramirez trots into third, and there is still nobody out. Infield moves in now for Lakeland. And the pitch. Tags the outside corner for a strike. 2-2 now on Josh Tay, but he is still such a good two-strike hitter. You have to imagine that he's going to try to drive the baseball into right field. There's also a big hole on the right side of the infield. 2-2, there it is to the first base side, but Osorio plays it on the backhand, looks the runner to third, and steps on the bag for out number 1. It looked like off the bat it was going to be in the perfect spot in that hole between first and second, but Osorio was able to take a couple of steps to his right. And there's the first big out for Hoskins in this inning. That brings up Christian Haugerig. Infield still playing in for the Flying Tigers, and the pitch. Moves up and in, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. So some of the scores around the Florida State League tonight, top of the 7th inning, all squared at 1 between St. Lucie and Tampa. Tampa has been playing some really good baseball after a slow start. The 1-0 is down and in, 2 balls and no strikes. Tampa's had a pretty similar season to the Marauders. Going into that actually third week of the season when it was Tampa and Bradenton, they pretty much had the same records, and then the Marauders ended up actually winning that series. 2-0 is on the ground. It's off of Hoskins. He picks it up, throws to first for the out, and that is really unfortunate for the Marauders. And I guess it makes up for what happened on the play with Ramirez. I guess we're all kind of even now, but now the training staff has to make sure that Hoskins is okay, because that was a rocket off of, it looks like his foot. He seems to be okay. He's pointing to where he got hit. But if that did not make contact with Hoskins, that is easily into center field, and the Marauders have a 4-2 lead. So they're going to let Hoskins throw a couple of warm-up pitches just to make sure that he's okay. But it seems like immediately he said he was fine, and the first pitch he throws is pretty much right down the middle. So that's a great sign for Hoskins. And it just takes 2 pitches, and he says he's okay, and the inning continues. And what a chance for Hoskins to get out of this inning without allowing a run. And the infield moves back to their normal depth, and here comes the leadoff man, Dylan Palmer. First pitch to him. Just misses off the plate, and it's 1-0. The rest of the scores in the FSL, bottom of the 6th, 5-2 Jupiter over Dunedin. Bottom of the 6th, Daytona 3-1 against Fort Myers. And then Clearwater once again with a lead over Palm Beach. Palmer into right field. This is going to score a run. He's around first, charging into second. Here comes the throw. It's going to be close, and Palmer is in there sliding safely. 4-2 Bradenton on the ice in the veins RBI hit from Palmer. He's just got such a smooth swing right now, and it doesn't matter righty or lefty on the bump. And his ability to pull the baseball and just rope it down that right field line has been so fun to watch. And here is your Donnie De Los Santos. First pitch, breaking ball in the inner half for a strike. But yeah, Clearwater actually now up to a 5-2 lead. They have the bases loaded with 1 out in the top of the 6th. So they're looking to take the first 4 games against the best record in the FSL in Palm Beach. The 0-1. Inside, De Los Santos almost fell back on the back pedal outside of the right-handed box. 1 ball and 1 strike to De Los Santos, who already has a home run during this minor league rehab assignment. Hoskins has the sign, looks back at second, the pitch. Pops the mitts on the outside part of the plate at 92. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hoskins steps off. These are the later innings, or part of the later innings, where the Marauders have been trying to get better. The 1-2. On the ground, third base side, diving stop by Rucker. He spins, fires to first, and it's scooped up by Osorio. What a play by Rucker at the hot corner, and that steals a run away from the Marauders, but Dylan Palmer gives the Marauders a 4-2 lead on the RBI knock. We head to the 7th, and the Marauders are now up by 2. You're listening to Marauders Baseball on the Marauders Baseball Network. We move to the top of the 7th inning from Lakeland Park, and the Marauders now have a 4-2 lead over the Lakeland Flying Tigers. Gray Bear Mendez is back on the rubber for Bradenton, and the first pitch to Jude Warwick is a check swing. Appeal to the field umpire David Ortiz, and he says that he went around, and it's 0-1. I'm sure there's many broadcasts that have said this about the umpire David Ortiz as a pitch misses down and evens the count at a ball and a strike, but obviously what a name, and to be working in baseball where you have Big Papi, I'm sure he says his name all the time and gets, like the Red Sox hitter. This one's crushed out towards right center field. That gets down in front of the warning track and up against the wall. Warwick into second, and he's in there standing up with a leadoff double. Well, that has got to feel good for Jude Warwick. 3 strikeouts before that, and going up against Seth Hernandez, who started tonight with the overpowering, really breaking stuff from the 19-year-old, and he was finally able to shoot one out towards that gap. And a leadoff double for the Flying Tigers, who are trying to make a comeback on the Marauders. Here's now Jesus Pinto. And the pitch by Mendez. Moves too far inside, and it's 1-0. Well, taking a look, and we actually were talking about this a little bit during last night's game, but to give you kind of an idea of how much the Marauders bullpen has been struggling later in games, this one shot foul out of play over the first base side, and it's 1-1. Just looking at the 7th inning and later of how much opponents have scored off of Bradenton pitching. They've scored 12 runs in the 7th, 23 in the 8th, and 7 in the 9th. 1-1. Misses down. 2 balls and a strike. But what was also an issue for Bradenton when they were going through those losing streaks, especially here at home to start the season, was that they weren't really scoring first against their opposing teams. 2-1. Up and in, and that got a piece of Pinto. He knew it immediately and heads down to the first base bag. So now an interesting decision may be coming up for Hera Alvarez soon. Second and first, nobody out. And a weird spot for Mendez because he's usually so good in these spots, but now the Flying Tigers are starting to get some action against him. Matt Ford, the pitching coach, heads out to the mound to have a conversation. There is a right-hander warming up in the bullpen for the Marauders. Don't quote me on this, but I think it is Gavin Adams. I'm going to have to get some binoculars up here. And as I say that, the guy to my left is just showing off with his what looks like very expensive and high-quality binoculars, and I'm over here trying to use my eyeballs. There we go. Thank you, camera crew. Gavin Adams. I didn't want to say the wrong name, so thank you so much. The best crew in the Florida State League. They have been having a blast over the last couple of days. We had the Sportsnet Pittsburgh game yesterday, the national game that they did such a great job on, and then this is tonight the minor league baseball free game of the day. So it's awesome that everybody, you guys get to see this TV crew and what they're able to do. Very special here in Bradenton. So Zach McDonald now takes a breaking ball just off the plate. 2 balls and no strikes. Next offering. Misses inside. So the count started at 1-0 because of the time violation on the mound for the Marauders. So you're already starting in a bad spot. And Mendez is a pitch away from loading the bases as the 3-0 hits the top line of the strike zone to make it 3-1. But this is such a tough spot because you don't want to just lay it in there. McDonald is one of the best hitters in the FSL. 3-1. He's out in front of an 88-mile-per-hour pitch, and it's 3-2. So now another question becomes for Mendez, what do you throw in this spot? Are you comfortable with going to the breaking ball and throwing it for a strike? I think if he is, we'll definitely see it here. And the payoff is a swing and a miss with an 88-mile-per-hour fastball by Mendez. He gets a little ovation from the infield, hyping him up, and rightfully so. This pitch was great. Maybe just below the knees. It would have been close, whether that was a strike or a ball, and maybe an ABS challenge, but it doesn't matter. And Mendez put it so close that McDonald felt like he had to go after it, and that is a massive out number one. Carson Rucker takes one low and outside, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Rucker is 1 for 3 with a single off of Seth Hernandez back in the 3rd inning. 1-0 on the way. Hits the bottom line of the strike zone, and it's 1-1. The velocity is starting to dip down, though, for Mendez. He's somebody that doesn't really have blazing speed. It's about 90, 91 consistently. 1-1 pitch. On the ground, a tapper. Third base side, Murph Gray Fields throws to first, and that beats Rucker by a couple of steps. For out number 2, it does move the runners into second and third. And now Bo Ankeny has a chance to tie the game up with just a base hit. 4-2 Marauders over the Flying Tigers in the top of the 7th inning. The Marauders are also going for their first 3-game winning streak of the season. They've, after last night's win, had 3 times where they've won back-to-back. Ankeny skies this one down the right field line. Moving towards the seats, going over there, and not able to make the catch is Christian Haugerig. He went flying into the netting, trying to pull off a web gem. You gotta love the effort, though, if you're Mendez on the mound. So no balls and a strike. Ankeny back in the box. The 0-1. Off the end of the bat. Put out towards right center field. Haugerig slips and falls, and the ball lands. 2 runs are going to score Ankeny into second, and we are tied at 4. Unbelievable. Haugerig slipped in right center field. It would have been the 3rd and final out, and instead of going to the bottom of the 7th with a 4-2 lead, it's all knotted up at 4. Well, if we're counting the breaks in this game, we're all pretty much knotted up now, and it kind of makes sense. Goodman swings and misses for strike 1. If you remember last inning, Richard Ramirez hit a fly ball out towards left field that should have been caught, but Salas, the left fielder, lost it in the night sky, and the ball ended up landing. It was a double, and he eventually scored. The 0-1 is at the bottom of the zone for a strike, and it's 0-2. And that was a big break for the Marauders, and now the Flying Tigers have their big break, and it kind of makes sense that it's now 4-4. 0-2 pitch, Goodman takes one outside, and a challenge by Edglin Perez. He was so confident that he was almost in the first base dugout, and it is a strike, so Mendez gets the punch out, and a very weird top of the 7th inning and we're knotted up at 4. It's time to stretch. I will say from Marty, he still needs to trim down the beard a little bit. Justinson Garcia is behind the fastball, and it's 0-1. So we are all knotted up at 4 to open up this bottom of the 7th inning, and it has been just kind of a weird game tonight, the 0-1. Garcia pounds this one way out of Lakeland Park. The password makes it a 5-4 game. I mean, over the stadium for Justinson Garcia. So that takes away the 2-run inning, and Garcia, the little lean back from the right-handed batter's box, he knew it off the bat. Everybody did. Gray takes a fastball on the outside part of the plate, but he doesn't get the call, and it's 1-0. And the pitch is skied down the right field line, moving towards the line, but out of room. One ball and one strike on Gray. You can tell already in just this first game of the rehab assignment that Garcia's just different. The 1-1, it misses outside, and it's 2-1. Now that's, throughout the scouting report for him, that has been his best attribute. He's always been able to crush baseballs. And the 2-1 pitch. Gray with a bouncer to short. Warwick waits on it, gets the big hop throw to first, bounces, but back picked by Osorio. And there is out number 1. Andy King Jr. now for the Marauders in a 5-4 game in the bottom of the 7th. We did see Gavin Adams warming up when Mendez was starting to get in some trouble, as the pitch is in there for a strike at 94, and it's 0-1. Now the 0-1. Low and outside to even the counts, and it's a ball and a strike. So Gavin Adams will, if he does come in, he'll find himself in another spot in the 8th inning. Pitch misses outside to make it 2-1. And again, we went over the numbers. These are the games that the Marauders have got to do a better job of consistently being able to hang on to. 2-1. This is up, 3 balls and a strike. (3-1) is a bouncer foul towards the third base dugouts, and it's 3-2. The rest of the starters this weekend for the Marauders, you have Joan Leg Gaetano on the bump tomorrow night. He'll make his first appearance at Lakeland Park of his professional career. He just joined the team last week when they were taking on the Threshers, and he's somebody that throws a lot of strikes, and he is really good. 3-2 is a cut and a miss for strike 3 on a 92-mile-per-hour fastball, and there's 2 gone. Egleen Perez, the batter now for the Marauders. He's 1 for 3 with a single in the second, and the pitch to him. On the outside part of the plate for a strike. How about, too, for the Marauders, the home run power this week against the Flying Tigers? The first 7 games at home here at Lakeland Park, they did not have a home run. And all it took was during that Wednesday game for them to have 3 by Caro de los Santos and Edward Florentino, and then they were off and running. 1-1 pitch. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. Yesterday it was Richard Ramirez, and now Joe Stinson Garcia and Christian Haugery. 2-1. Perez socks it foul right behind home. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch moves inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Perez. Still a 5-4 lead for the Marauders over the Flying Tigers, thanks to the solo homer by Joe Stinson Garcia. Out of the windup, the pitch is hard on the ground, but right to Goodman. At second base, he throws to first, and that puts an end to the 7th inning. 5-4. Once again, thanks to Garcia, the password in his first rehab assignment game with the Marauders making an impact. We head to the 8th. You're listening to Marauders Baseball on the Marauders Baseball Network. Gavin Adams is on the bump for the Marauders here in the top of the 8th inning. And the Marauders have a 5-4 lead now over the Flying Tigers. Salas to lead off in the left-handed batter's box. Pitch by Adams is a fastball that stings the outside corner for a strike, and it's 0-1. Adams from the stretch. He goes to the plate. Misses up and out, and that evens the count at 1-1. Salas swings and misses with a home run cut on a 96-mile-per-hour fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Adams trying to get into a rhythm during this 2026 season. On the ground, first base side, and through into right field for a leadoff single. So Salas with a really good offensive night. He's got the home run and a single. So a multi-hit game with 2 strikeouts this evening. Here's now the first baseman, Osorio, with the pink sleeve on the left arm tonight. Pitch by Adams is a high pop-up right side of the infield. Palmer moving into shallow right field. His cap falls off. Backpedaling, and he makes the catch in front of the right fielder Haugery for out number 1. Well, for Gavin Adams, it's been a slow progression for him. A tough start to the year, but if you look over his last 3 outings, he is not allowed to run. Now, one of those outings, he was able to get some help from Brandon Kane of getting him out of a jam, but still able to put up some zeros. Here's now the catcher, Rondon. Fastball on the outer edge for a strike, and it's 0-1. Adams is already making his 2nd appearance out of the bullpen this week. He had a scoreless frame and 2 strikeouts. He was really good against the Flying Tigers. 0-1 on the ground, past Palmer, and into right center field. Salas around second, heading for third. Rondon stops at first, and here comes Lakeland. After the go-ahead home run in the bottom of the 7th inning to make it 5-4, quickly the Flying Tigers have runners on the corners and still only 1 out. And back to the top of the lineup for Jude Warwick. Immediately that brings out the pitching coach for the Marauders, Matt Ford. And you got to wonder if the conversation here is about keeping everything low around the knees. The Marauders need a ground ball, some kind of double play to get out of this inning. Now Adams is still working on the slider. We talked to him about it last week during our pregame show in Clearwater. That's a pitch that he's still trying to get comfortable with, and that's just going to take some time, especially in these live appearances in these regular season games. But no denying, if he's able to place that fastball low and away to a lefty like Warwick, he can definitely get a nice little rollover. The numbers have been nice at home. The opposing batters are actually not hitting great against Adams. Just a .235 batting average here at Lakeland Park. Now here's the pitch to Warwick. Just misses off the plate at 96, and it's 1-0. Really, the times when Adams is struggling, it's just the walks. You go back maybe about 5 outings ago, we ended up walking 4 and allowed a run against Tampa. The 1-0 is a check swing, no throw down to second, though. It was just a fake steal. Now the appeal on the check swing, and David Ortiz, the bases umpire, says safe. So it's 2 balls and no strikes. And then his last outing, talking about Adams against the Threshers last week, he recorded 1 out and walked the bases loaded. Now the 2-0. Misses off the plate, 3 balls and no strikes. There is a base open at second, so a walk would not score a run for the Flying Tigers. 3-0. Swing and a miss on Jude Warwick. An aggressive cut. He had the green light. We just see a lot more of that in this game. The 3-0s, they just know that they're going to get their spots. 3-1. Takes it outside for ball 4. So the bases are loaded. And that brings up Jesus Pinto. This is the inning this year that have given the Marauders a lot of trouble. All 3 losses last week against the Threshers. They had a 2-run lead going into the 8th inning and allowed 4 runs in every single one of those losses in the home half. And the pitch to Pinto is a breaking ball that's in there for a strike. Well, that was a nice-looking pitch by Adams. He comes set in the 0-1. Pinto swings and misses at a fastball up in the zone at 98. And after Pinto goes after that fastball that it was just an uncomfortable swing, you got to think Adams goes towards the top line of the strike zone again. The 0-2 is a pop-up, but out of play down the first base side. Still 0-2 on Jesus Pinto. The Marauders are looking for the ground ball. And the pitch just misses low. De Los Santos, the shortstop for the Marauders tonight, is also still in the game. He got pulled a little bit earlier during his first rehab matchup. A swing and a miss. There's that big punch out that Adams needed. 2 gone, and here is Zach McDonald. Now, this was pretty much the same pitch that he got a swing and a miss on earlier in the at-bat. And we were talking about it. You see that swing from Pinto, you go right back to that same pitch, and eventually Adams was able to get there, and he ends up getting the strikeout. And the offering to Zach McDonald. In there for a strike on an 88-mile-per-hour off-speed pitch. Adams trying to leave the bases loaded. 0-1. Just off the plate. That was another really good breaking ball by Adams. The thing, too, about his breaking pitches is, you know, the fastball is always going to be electric, but that was a 90-mile-per-hour off-speed pitch. 1-1. Got him swinging at 99. Adams now a strike away. Adams with the flowing locks coming out of his gold cap and the tan glove comes set and pitches. McDonald swings and misses. Gavin Adams fired up, coming off the mound. He leaves the bases loaded with the huge strikeout on McDonald. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 5-4. Marauders still up. Richard Ramirez to lead off in the bottom of the 8th inning and a 5-4 lead for the Marauders. Gomez on the bump now for the Flying Tigers, and this one is shot back foul just to the left of us in the press box. No balls and a strike. So bottom of the lineup due up for the Marauders in this bottom of the 8th inning, looking for some insurance. There's a fastball at the bottom of the zone, and it's 0-2. It is an ABS challenge, but it's in there for a strike. O2 is in there for strike 3. What a punch out by Gomez, showing off the electricity in that right arm. So there's one gone to open up this bottom of the 8th. Josh Tay with a check swing, appeal down to first, he says safe. Still a 5-4 lead for the Marauders over the Flying Tigers. 1-0 pitch. Misses low and inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Fans Copa de la División is back at Lakeland Park this Sunday with Levi Sterling on the bump as the Marauders turn into the Bradenton Barbanegras. Another ABS challenge coming up. The pitch was called a ball, and it did miss outside, so it's 3-0 on Tate. Well, if you're just joining us, the Marauders with this 5-4 lead got a go-ahead home run in the bottom of the 7th from Jostinson Garcia. Fastball at the bottom of the zone is in there for a strike, and it's 3-1. And the pitch. In there for a strike. Josh Tate wants a challenge. So everybody looks up at the board, and it is a strike. Barely caught the top line of the zone. 3-2 now. Tate trying to get his second hit of the night. He does have a single. And the pitch is crunched on the ground to third. Rucker moves to his left, settles his feet, and throws a strong throw to first for the out. Now the first base dugout seemed to be in an uproar. I think maybe they thought Osorio came off the base, but the call is going to stay the same, and there's 2 gone for Christian Halgary. And the pitch. He shows bunt and pulls it back. And missed inside with a 97-mile-per-hour fastball. But it's really been a back-and-forth game between these two teams. The 1-0. Swing and a miss by Halgary. It's been one of the best games of the series so far as the run differential. The first 2 games were pretty close. Bouncer foul towards the end of the first base dugout, and it's 1-2. Even though you look at the final score and the Flying Tigers were able to pull away at the end, and that's kind of the same thing that happened on Wednesday night, is the Marauders were able to just get that 2-run homer from Florentino in the final third of that game, and that's pretty much ended it. 1-2 got him swinging for strike 3 on a 97-mile-per-hour heater, and that ends the 8th. Marauders 3 outs away from a victory. It's a 5-4 game, so this is a save situation for Ziegler. He has been maybe the best pitcher in the FSL coming out of the bullpen. Just a reminder, fans, we got Star Wars Night coming up May 16th as Ziegler fires the fastball on the outside corner. Obviously, not a lot of things are better than Star Wars show. Should be a lot of fun here at Lakeland. Fouled back into the backstop padding, and it's 0-2. The Marauders are going to have Star Wars-themed jerseys. I think it actually fits perfect because I want to say the new Star Wars movie, the Mandalorian, and Grogu, I think is his name. I feel like I might be pronouncing that wrong, but they have the new Star Wars movie coming out that same weekend. 0-2 misses inside, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So great timing by Bradenton on the middle of May. Rucker down in the hole at 1 ball and 2 strikes, and the kick and the pitch is a bouncer foul in the third base coaching box. So Draven Ziegler has thrown the most outings out of the bullpen for the Marauders and has the lowest ERA out of the bullpen with a .84. He's 1-0. He has 4 saves, so he's going for number 5, and that's out of 7 opportunities. Now, this wasn't set in stone in the beginning of the year. Some of those save opportunities, the 3 blown saves, I guess you can say, it really wasn't fair to him at the beginning of the season, as the 1-2 is a disgusting breaking ball by Ziegler, and he gets a strikeout to start the 9th inning. Oh, that is nasty. Here's now Bo Ankeny. But those save opportunities, they were multi-innings pitched for Ziegler. You remember the one against Tampa where he was really good towards the end, and then he just gave up a home run in the 9th inning. Just kind of unfair in the beginning. If it was set in stone at the beginning of the year, it probably would be like a 6 out of 6 or 7 out of 7 in save opportunities for him. But still really impressive going for save number 5. He has not allowed a run over his last 3 outings. 0-1 out of the windup. Ankeny is behind a fastball at 94, and it's 0-2. Ziegler is a NAIA product out of LSU Shreveport. 0-2. Bouncer foul once again on that third base side. Ziegler touches up the rosin bag right behind home plate, or I should say the rubber. And the 0-2. Another strikeout for Draven Ziegler. And the Flying Tigers are down to their final out tonight. And it's been with the breaking ball. It just is, it feels like it's 90% of the way there, and it's going to be a strike, and then at the last second, it darts basically to the left-handed batter's box. That brings up Jack Goodman. He takes one in the dirt, and it's 1-0. A win tonight for the Marauders will move them 1 game under 500, and just crazy to think that it didn't feel long ago, but this Marauders team was 2-7 to start the year. And the 1-0. A swing on the ground to short. This should do it. De Los Santos has it, throws to first. And the Marauders have their first 3-game winning streak of 2026. And they, at the very least, earn a split in this series against the Flying Tigers. Save number 5 tonight for Draven Ziegler. And a 5-4 victory for Bradenton. High fives all around coming into that first base dugout, and now they have a really good chance against a very good team this year in Lakeland to end up winning this series. And you think about it, we'll talk a little bit more about it in the post-game show, but they have the Blue Jays next week. The Blue Jays are at the bottom of the West Division, so the Marauders have a chance to to rattle off a lot of wins in a couple of weeks if they can stay hot. Long way to go, but this is a nice start. 3-1, beginning against the Flying Tigers with 3 wins in a row. We'll wrap things up on the post-game show when we return. 5-4 win for the Marauders over the Flying Tigers. This has been Marauders Baseball on the Marauders Baseball Network.